Nashville, and welcome to Business as Usual. My name is Bailey, and I'm the adult librarian at the Donaldson branch.
And I'm Corey. I'm the branch manager at the Goodlettsville branch.
And we are here with Megan Flippen, President and CEO for the Center for Nonprofit Excellence, Middle Tennessee. How are you, Megan?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to start you off on our first question. Megan, tell us about yourself and what do you do at the Center for Nonprofit Excellence, Middle Tennessee?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm one of the rarities here in Middle Tennessee, having spent my entire life in this area, originally from Rutherford County, and have spent nearly 2 decades working in the nonprofit sector. So I went to undergrad at Middle Tennessee State University and did a graduate assistantship in their Office of Leadership and Service after I finished undergrad, and that's where I really got exposed to the nonprofit sector and realized that I thought that might be a career path for me. Initially, I thought I wanted to go into healthcare, but realized pretty quickly scalpels and needles were not going to be part of my everyday life. I was not equipped for that. So I had the opportunity to do that assistantship and really worked with a lot of nonprofits, both national and local, in that role. From there, I went on to spend some time at the Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum as they were launching here in Nashville in the earlier 2000s. Yep. And then had the opportunity to go on to the United Way Network, where I spent 14 years in varying roles, spending the last decade or so leading what is now the United Way of South Central Tennessee. So based in Rutherford County, but serving 7 different counties south and east of Rutherford County. And then about a year and a half ago, I had the opportunity to come to the Center for Nonprofit Management at the time, now Center for Nonprofit Excellence of Middle Tennessee, and have spent about the last 18 months just working to continue to serve the nonprofit sector, which I feel like what most of my time at United Way was about. It's just in a little bit of a different capacity in this role, but I had been a member through my nonprofit that I was employed by for many years, so had benefited from so many of the programs and services and offerings that CNM had that I felt like this was an organization I had an affinity to and wanted to see be successful, and was invested in its mission. So been there right at 18 months.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Lots of background history in nonprofit management and stuff, right?
Yes, yes.
So, for instance, we were talking about the Center for Nonprofit Excellence of Middle Tennessee. Tell us what that is and sort of the history of the organization.
Yeah, so the Center for Nonprofit Excellence of Middle Tennessee, previously Center for Nonprofit Management, and before that, the Management Development Organization, started in 1986, housed under United Way, ironically, of Greater Nashville. And it was supported initially with an $80,000 grant from the HCA Foundation. And I think we recently did the math to see what the present value of that amount was. And it was somewhere, I think, around $300,000 to launch the organization. So for about the first 6 years, CNE was under that United Way structure. And then in 1992 came out as its own independent 501c3 organization. And so over the years, our mission and our goal of supporting the nonprofit sector in Middle Tennessee and helping organizations be more effective has not changed. And how we have done that has changed based on the trends and the challenges of the landscape at that time. But now we serve about 600 members. About 2/3 of those members are here in Davidson County. The other 1/3 are mostly in the 10-county region of Middle Tennessee, or I should say 9-county if you're excluding Davidson. Then we have a few outliers beyond that, but our main footprint is here in the Middle Tennessee area.
Okay. Could you just list those counties for us real quick? Is that
Yeah,
putting you on the spot?
Yeah. See how good I am at this. Davidson, Montgomery, Sumner, Dixon, Cheatham, Williamson, Rutherford, Wilson, and I believe Robertson is where the primary base of our membership is. Like I said, we have some outliers beyond that. Some into Bedford County and Cookeville area and even beyond that. But most of them are right in those 10 counties.
Very awesome. Very awesome. So tell us about organization membership.
Yeah, so we have, as I mentioned, about 600 members, and really any 501c organization is eligible for membership. So we serve organizations that are in the arts, in animal welfare, in addressing poverty, in hunger, education and literacy, healthcare, the full spectrum. And so our mission of equipping and empowering nonprofits to excel really takes on a little bit of a different persona depending on the organization that we're working with or that we're serving. Every organization has different needs, and every cause area has different ways in which they need to be supported. So organizations can join. It's on a sliding scale based on their annual operating budget in terms of what their membership dues are. Okay. But we are fortunate to be supported by many of the local foundations and corporations here in Middle Tennessee to be able to keep those dues and our services very, very low for the nonprofit sector. And we have a variety of services that we offer. Most people know us for our training and our professional development and our leadership development in the nonprofit sector. But for those who maybe aren't in the nonprofit sector, a lot of people know us for our job board, which is where most of our nonprofits will post opportunities that they have, and people who are maybe coming to Middle Tennessee or who are looking to make a career transition into the nonprofit sector will utilize that job board. So we help place about 1,500 to 2,000 nonprofit jobs on an annual basis.
A lot, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so bouncing off of that, what are some other kind of services that you all offer to nonprofits? I know you mentioned the job board and some other things.
So we also have the Grant Station database that is free for our members to take advantage of to help them within their own funding recruitment and their own financial support, and that's very popular with many of our members. We offer a lot of what I would say best practices, tools, resources, links to different opportunities for our members to take advantage of to help them build out the different areas of their organization. And then our pretty strong, what I would say, keystone in our offerings is our programming. So any given week, we have anywhere from 3 to 6 events taking place. That can be a half-day or full-day class. It can be a certification in fundraising or in volunteer management or nonprofit leadership. And we also have one for board members or people who are in volunteer roles looking to increase and enhance their board level skills. And we also offer networking and convening with funders for our members to have an opportunity to better understand the funding community and what that looks like and what's involved in securing that funding. So most of our programming falls into one of those areas. We also do 2 larger events a year. We host a nonprofit conference here in the spring, and we just brought that back this past year from pre-COVID. And then we also host an event called Salute to Excellence, which is a recognition for nonprofits who are excelling in 10 different categories. So that's coming up on November 6th. And we will have 30 nonprofits, so 3 finalists and then 1 ultimate recipient for each of the 10 categories of recognition. And there's so many who are doing such great work. It's always so hard to narrow down to those 3, but we rely on a panel of community leaders and volunteers to help us do that so that decision is not on the staff at CNE. So we're excited to be able to celebrate those organizations and the incredible work that they do. And because of our support for that event, we're actually able to offer cash grants for those finalists and those recipients as a way to recognize and honor that work and that excellence.
And that's here in Nashville. You host it?
It's at Music City Center.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. So could you tell us about the different workshops and certification programs that individuals can attend with CNE?
Yeah, so right now we have 4. Well, actually, I take that back. We have 5. We added 1 about a year ago, key cohort certifications, and that is the board development certificate, so primarily geared towards those who are interested in serving on boards or are serving on boards. Leadership, nonprofit leadership certificate, revenue development, and volunteer management. And then at the end of 2024, we added a strategic planning cohort to help organizations better plan for the future and longer term scenarios. And then actually this summer, we launched a new CEO, new Executive Director Institute. So for organizations that have had a new leader in place for less than a year, they go through a 6-month training program, and then they are paired with a seasoned nonprofit CEO for the next 6 months in a mentorship capacity.
Wow.
So one of the needs that arose in our membership surveying that we did last year, and it populated again in the survey that we just closed this summer, is just building that talent pipeline and making sure that nonprofit professionals and leadership are equipped and empowered to excel, which is our mission altogether. So we are building out some additional supports to help in that arena. We're looking at adding a couple of certificates next year for those training opportunities, and even looking to do some programming outside of our office here in Nashville to really take the mission to our nonprofits who are in those surrounding counties. So we're planning to kick that off October of this year and having some what I would call regional summits and training days within surrounding areas.
Cool.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. So what are some online services that are available for CNE members?
Yeah. So some of our trainings that we offer are actually done online. We are a big believer in the value of in-person and the relational aspect that comes with that. But we recognize, accessibility is a factor that we want to take into consideration. So it depends. We do some programming only online, and we do some both and. So you could either choose to take it in person or you could choose to take it online. And then we do something called roundtables, where we have 6 different functional areas, CEOs, HR, financial leaders, programming staff, people, marketing, fundraisers, and young professionals. And they have an opportunity to meet with their peers every other month and just learn from each other, share challenges, ideas, advice, all those things. And we've started shifting some of those to be virtual as well, just to improve and increase the reach that we have for our members to be able to participate. So we're kind of in this place of striking the right balance right now between virtual and online, as well as the in-person. And so we're still kind of figuring out exactly what that formula is.
We all are doing
Yeah. It's like the pendulum has swung pretty hard a couple of times since 2020.
Absolutely.
And now we're trying to figure out what is the middle.
What's the medium?
Sweet spot. So we ask this question for all of our guests whenever they're on the show. What's one piece of advice you'd give someone starting out as an entrepreneur or small business owner?
Yeah, I would say make sure you do your research online, but also spend a lot of time talking to people who are in similar roles or fields or have kind of lived the thing that you're trying to do. And I would say listen to what people complain about, because I think when you're trying to solve a problem, anybody can say, hey, I want to start this business, or I'm very passionate about this particular product or service or whatever it is. But I think where, you really got to think is, what is something that is a challenge for people who might be consumers or customers of your product or your service, and what are the frustrations they have with the existing availability of that product and service. And think about that as you build whatever your particular business or organization looks like, to make sure that you're really addressing a need or a problem, and you've really thought through what that solution is for the end user.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much. What are some of the good ways to get in touch with you? Email, website, phone number?
Yeah, so our primary phone number is 615-259-0100. Both my phone number, personal, or my office personal phone number, and my personal email are on our website. So those can be located there, and can reach out to me at any time. I enjoy getting emails and phone calls from our members and our nonprofits, and always try to respond as quickly as possible, because that's who we serve and that's why we exist.
Absolutely. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I really appreciate this opportunity and showcasing some of the services that CNE has. I think when we think about fulfilling our mission of equipping and empowering nonprofits to excel, really the long-term vision of that is that we have a thriving Middle Tennessee community that is sustained by the impact of nonprofit organizations. And I always preface with what I'm about to say with, I can't take credit for this. Another nonprofit leader said this, but I have been shamelessly borrowing it ever since. They mentioned that nonprofits are really what make a city a community, and I wholeheartedly believe that. And I think we've seen, a lot of changes this year with the nonprofit community and the way nonprofits maybe are supported financially and how they're perceived in any given community. But I really believe nonprofits are an invisible backbone for the community and the services that they provide. No corporation or government or other entity is really equipped to do that. So I just wanted to take a moment and make sure I put an endorsement in just for the value of the nonprofit sector and the work that is done there, and the missions that are fulfilled and the lives that are changed as a result.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, Megan, thank you so much for coming out and telling us all the good things at CNE. Once again, this is Business as Usual. My name is Bailey.
And I'm Corey.
And we will talk to you next time, Nashville. Thank you.